He thought you would return until he realized you were gone for good. He thought you would come back. That was his biggest mistake. Not the lies he believed, not the way he treated you, not the way he ignored your tears, not even the days he told you to leave. His biggest mistake was thinking your love would always be there, waiting for him no matter how badly he treated you. For months, he was convinced you would return. He told himself you were just angry. He told his friends, she needs time. She will be back. But what he did not understand was that every sleepless night, every broken promise, every moment he chose someone else's feeling over yours was slowly teaching you a lesson you never wanted to learn. The lesson was how to live without him. When you finally walked away, you didn't leave because you stopped loving him. You left because loving him was destroying you. The relationship had become a place where you felt alone, even when he was standing right in front of you, when he was standing right beside you. Every conversation turned into an argument. Every concern became an accusation. Every sacrifice you made was treated like it was expected. You kept hoping things would change. You kept believing the man you fell in love with would return. But one day, something inside you became tired. Not angry, not bitter, just tired. Tired of begging for basic respect. Tired of explaining your pain. Tired of carrying a relationship that felt heavier every day. The day you left was surprisingly quiet. That was there was no dramatic fight, no screaming or revenge. You simply packed your things and walked away. And somehow that silence made him believe he would return. He watched you leave and thought she just needs some space. What he didn't know was that you had already spent months saying goodbye in your heart. The first few weeks after the breakup, it didn't bother him much. He went out with friends, posted pictures online. He acted as if life was normal. People asked about you and he snubbed. You are talking, you are taking a break. That's what he kept saying or telling himself. Because calling it an ending felt impossible. Meanwhile, your world looked very different. You cried when nobody was watching. You fought loneliness. You questioned yourself. Some nights you almost called him. Some morning you stared at old photos. Healing wasn't easy. There were days when simply getting out of bed felt like a victory. But little by little, something started changing. You began rebuilding your life. You started smiling again. You found peace in places that had nothing to do with him. You learned that happiness could exist without his approval. And almost impossible, you stopped waiting. Months passed. Then one evening, reality finally caught up with him. He was cleaning his apartment when he found an old note you had written years earlier. It wasn't anything special, just a simple message wishing him luck before an important meeting. But seeing your handwriting hit him harder than he expected. For the first time, he realized how much of his life had been filled with your presence. The coffee you used to make, the messages waiting for him every morning, the way you remembered small details nobody else cared about, the support he had taken for granted. He sat down holding that piece of paper and suddenly felt something he hadn't allowed himself to feel: loss, real loss. Not temporal separation, not a misunderstanding, but lost. That night he opened old conversation. He read messages he had ignored. He saw moments where you had begged him for communication, moments where you had tried to save the relationship while he dismissed your concern. For hours he scrolled through memories, and with every message, the truth became harder to avoid. You hadn't given up quickly. You had fought harder than anyone knew. The person who walked away wasn't someone who stopped caring. It was someone who cared too long. The next morning he tried contacting you. The number still worked, but your response was different, polite, respectful, decent. The warmth he remembered was gone, not because you hated him, but because you had healed, and healing changed people. He sent another message, then another. Days passed between Days passed between your replies. Eventually, he asked the question he had been avoiding. Is there any chance of us again? He stared at his phone, waiting for your answer. Minutes felt like hours. When your message finally arrived, it was short. You thanked him for everything, you wished him well, and you told him you had moved forward with your life. Nothing cruel, nothing dramatic, just the truth. For the first time, he understood. You weren't coming back. Not next week, not next month, not next year. You were gone for good. Not physically, but emotionally. The door he thought would always remain open had finally closed. That realization broke something inside him because people often think love disappears overnight. It doesn't. Love usually dies slowly, one disappointment at a time, one broken promise at a time, one ignored tear at a time. And by the time some people realize what they have lost, the person they hurt has already done the hardest part. They learned how to live without them. That is that was the moment he finally understood. You didn't leave because you stopped loving him. You left because you finally started loving yourself enough to stop accepting less than you deserve. And while he was busy believing you would return, you were busy becoming someone who no longer needed to. By the time he realized you were gone for good, you had already found the peace he never thought you could find without him. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If this is your first time of coming across my channel, please subscribe, click on the notification button, like and share. And to all of my subscribers, I love you so much. See you in my next episode. God bless you.